return man. 118 yards of offense last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Eludes the first tackler and flips at the 12-yard line. So good coverage by the kickoff unit of the Redskins. Clarence Burdan able to pin him there. And Green Bay will start in a hole back at their 12-yard line. Randy Wright, the young quarterback from the University of Wisconsin, brings out the Packers against this defense. Man, Butts, Darrell Grant now back as a starter, and Dexter Manley. Daniels, Olkowitz, and Malott. Two changes in the secondary. Alvin Walton for Ken Coffey, Barry Wilburn for Vernon Dean. Both had their problems last week, and both playing with sore knees, and so a change today. And Gary Ellis, make it Caruth, Paul Ott Caruth, number 30, the rookie from Alabama, came over from the USFL, starting with Ken Davis, the number 1 pick. And you can see Davis and Caruth in the lineup with Lofton, Epps, and Dan Ross, the former Bengal at tight end. Rutgers, Neville, Swanke, Hallstrom, and Weingrad. Across the front, Tom Neville, a rookie from Fresno State, for the injured Rich Moran. Carl Swanke, the veteran, playing at center for the injured Mark Cannon. Weingrad won the job in preseason from the veteran Greg Cook. Big hole out the left side for Kenneth Davis. Curtis Jordan finally pushed him out of bounds at the 42-yard line of Green Bay. The TCU rookie strikes early.
Key block, left tackle Ken Rutgers, number 75. Important that he gets down inside, seal off Manley, as you can see, pushes him outside actually. Then Davis just outruns Green and forces Jordan, the free safety, to come up and finally knock him out of bounds.
Kenneth Davis, the leading rusher with only 229 yards. It's not something they've done well. They are number 28 in the league against the run. And Davis today getting the starting job once more. Right on first down and complete out of the backfield. And it is Davis again with a gain of about 3 yards. Kenneth Davis in a battle with Gary Ellerson for that starting spot. Ellerson, the second-year man from Wisconsin. And Forrest Gregg not at all happy with his offense all season long, and really upset about last week's effort against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had a 4-hour tape session on Monday. Had the whole team in to watch the game again against the Steelers. Said the defense is playing all right. The offense has been horrible. And has told Kenneth Davis, if you want the starting job, the number 1 pick, go get it. He's starting today. And he has a first down. Davis to the 42 of Washington, where Curtis Jordan and Neil Olkowitz make the stop.
One of the things that's always taught football players is that you like to run at strengths, because strengths, and sometimes you can fear them and run away from them, thus you make them stronger. That time you saw them once again running right at Dexter Manley and Darrell Grant, 77, picking up good yardage.
Gary Ellis now into the game, the 7-year veteran from Missouri, number 31, along with Davis. Ellis carried just 28 times for 79 yards so far this season. Slot formation left on first down, Green Bay at the 44-yard line of the Redskins. Play action, and they hit the fullback, the running back Davis, to the 36-yard line, where Malott and Olkowitz make the stop, and a pretty snappy offensive start for the Green Bay Packers.
They've run the ball well. First down, they've come out this time. They sent Ellis in motion. Wright was able to read the linebacker. It had the linebacker run with Ellis, then Wright would have turned around and ran and thrown the ball to one of his wide receivers. That time, linebackers dropped deep, indicating zone. He just threw the ball underneath it.
An 8-yard gain leaves 2nd and 2 for Green Bay, the opening offensive series of the game. Davis again, big hole. To the 20-yard line and a first down. Alvin Walton drives him out after a 17-yard gain.
Forrest Gregg said, I want someone to take charge, someone to say this job is mine. Evidently, the talk that he had with young Kenneth Davis is paying off. Is once again outside on the left side, past the linebackers, past the defensive line, into the secondary. Another big play by the Packers.
Ed West has come in at tight end, number 86, to join Dan Ross, and they are lined up together out the right side. Now he lines up on the wing. Pitch out, they come to the short side. Davis inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Darrell Green and Olkowitz made the stop.
The real key, Tim, on running to the left, as we're seeing so far, is the ability of the guard and tackle, Rutgers and Neville, to hook block Manley and Grant and keep them from getting outside. Now let's watch Manley, 72, the right end. He's going to come up, look at the tackle. Now they cut him. Look at this. Roll block, cut him, knock him down. Then Ellis gives him a little push. By then, it's too late. Davis is outside.
And it's 2nd and 4. They need to get to the 9-yard line for a first down. Randy Wright asked for an official timeout. Some problem with the ball or with the center. And Carl Swanke now saying there's something wrong with that football.
I wonder what, well, I'll tell you what's happened. They've run the ball so much that the football's probably a little bit frozen right now.
Well, that'd do it. 21 degrees at kickoff time here in Green Bay. It looks a lot nicer than it is, folks. The sunny skies are prevailing, but there are clouds looming on the horizon here, and it is darn cold. Ellis stumbled a bit, but a good second effort gets him to the 10-yard line. Looks like he'll be just short as Dave Butt stuck out a big arm and knocked him off balance.
Even though they're running away, they're making sure, Darrell, that Dexter Manley, 72, has no way of pursuing. Notice, good job by Ross to tie it in as he gets inside of him and keeps Dexter away from making the play.
It leaves 3rd down at about a yard. They're just outside the 10. Big play here for the Green Bay Packers. They've got 3 tight ends in. Mark Lewis joining the lineup. Gary Ellis. First down at the 4.
Good job once again by the left side of the offensive line of the Packers. Rutgers, Neville, Swanke, the center, once again able to get inside. Notice them leap to the outside. That's called hook blocking, trying to keep the penetration inside and allowing Ellis to either go inside or outside. That time he decided that he'd like to go outside, picked up big yardage.
Dan Ross was injured on the play, Terry, and he's being attended to down there. The starting tight end out of Northeastern, acquired in a deal last year from, or this year rather, from the Seattle Seahawks, had played under Greg with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's in some obvious pain. This is the 11th play upcoming with a 1st and goal for the Green Bay Packers. 4 first downs on this opening offensive series. Number 28 in the league in running offense, but starting off very well against Washington. And happily, Dan Ross gets to his feet, and we'll be back in Lambeau Field in a moment. Tim Ryan and Terry Bradshaw in freezing Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Do not be deceived by that very lovely looking setting. Temperature is 21 degrees with winds gusting to 35 miles an hour. The Packers have 1st and goal. Opening offensive series. They've run the ball very well. And it's Kenneth Davis. He is stacked up by the middle of that defensive front. Neil Olkowitz, the linebacker, making the hit after Butts and Grant had piled up the traffic. And the 3 linebackers converging. Daniels, Olkowitz, and Malott.
They came with a little motion that time and turned around and reverse pivot, very similar to an option route you see in college. That time, had the Packers run the option, Caruth, no one, I mean absolutely nobody, was outside. The coaches had to have seen that. They bound to have had that type of option in their offense, especially down inside the 5-yard line. So look for that.
No gain, 2nd and goal from the 4. Kenneth Davis with 56 yards on the opening drive. Davis trying to get wide. Got about a yard and a half. Alvin Walton, number 40. Darrell Green, number 28 on the stop. Good defensive work by the Redskins on that play, forcing them wide. Ball spotted just inside the 4-yard line, about a half-yard gain. 3rd and goal for the Packers. Dan Ross has been taken off on a golf cart toward the Packer locker room. The starting tight end will have x-rays on his leg. We'll keep you updated on that. 3rd down and goal just inside the 4-yard line. Slot formation left. There have been only 2 passes in this opening drive by the Packers. White will throw. He's got a man. He has a touchdown. Phillip F. The muffled sounds of applause from the gloved hands of the Packer boosters here in Lambeau Field. That has to be one of their best drives of the entire season, Terry. Well devised, well executed.
Especially under the conditions. Of course, the Packers probably are as used to this, or should be, as anyone in the National Football League, but it was a great drive for them. Good job by Wright, passing all 3 of his completions. Good running by Davis.
With a point after, Al Del Greco and Green Bay leading 7-0 here in the first period with 8:19 still to go.
Epps goes in motion, trying to give Randy Wright
has just got a 3-yard touchdown pass. The Packers scoring on their opening drive, running the ball effectively and using up 6:41 on the clock. 87 yards and 12 plays, and the rookie Kenneth Davis with 56 yards of that rushing.
The thing that now you have to say is the thing we talked about at the opening of the telecast. It's very important now that Green Bay showed us they can run the football. Now can Washington.
Wind, by the way, is gusting up to 35 miles an hour, blowing directly across field. Line drive kickoff taken by Clarence Verdun. Gets a good block. And Verdun over the 20 to the 22-yard line is stopped there by Eddie Lee Ivory. And now let's take you to Brent Musburg in New York for an update on the Bears-Tampa game.
Arlie Albrecht, call 494-5046.
Vintage Peyton, indeed. What a treat to watch him, just even for a few seconds in the context of our game here in Green Bay, stepping behind his blockers, scored goal and all. All right, it is first down, and a little football out to the 31-yard line. Rodgers bobbled the ball, but managed to retain possession. Brian Noble put the hit on him, and Rodgers, meanwhile, winds up with close to a first down. Jay Schrader bringing out the Redskins against Alfonso Carricker, Charles Martin, and Robert Brown. Harris, Scott, Noble inside today, and Bobby Leopold in his normal spot, Noble's normal spot. Lee Green, Stills, and Mossy Cade. And Mark Lee playing with a painful groin injury. They thought he might not go today. Rodgers for the first down, a flag on the play, first of the day. He had the first down mileage. Let's see what the flag's about.
Tim, that time, left outside linebacker, number 97, Tim Harris, got down as a defensive end. The Redskins ran the football, got nothing for it. So, first time we've seen it, and it's been very successful.
Carricker made the stop, and Rodgers gets up limping, but the penalty is against Green Bay. Defensive holding the call from referee Ben Bright.
76 on the defense, illegal use of the hands. Hands into the face, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Alfonso Carricker, who made the tackle, gets the infraction as described by Ben Bright. So the first down anyway, +4. And they move it to the 37-yard line. Rodgers with Art Monk, Gary Clark, the dangerous wide receivers, Warren and Didier, then their 2 tight end lineup. Jacoby Grimm, Bostic, Thielman, and Mark May. Solid. The offensive line, one of the best in football. Kelvin Bryant in the lineup for Rodgers, who went off limping slightly. This is Bryant, and Bryant a good hold, plows his way, still going. A flag down, probably a face mask as he approached first down yardage and was driven back. Kelvin Bryant, drafted back in 1983 by the Redskins, went to the USFL, missed 6 games with a knee injury this year, and adds another offensive weapon to the Redskins.
And keeping up with
Number 29 defense grabbing a face mask. 5-yard penalty.
and keeping up with Tim Harris, as you see, Steele's a free safety who's guilty of the infraction. Harris this time is double teamed. Coming down inside 2 people at guard. Look at Didier. That time, Jacoby driving him off the football. So even though he's a linebacker playing defense against him, they show enough respect to double team him, as you saw the infraction there.
First down, Redskins. Now in Packer territory at the 49-yard line. Opening offensive series for Washington. Bryant again gets 3 to the 46-yard line. Carricker makes the stop, number 76.
Charles Martin, 94, the nose tackle for the Packers is one of those guys that they have to really control in practice, Tim, because he's an all-out 100%. Well, you hear that all the time, but it makes good copy. But the guy just has a lot of energy, and they literally have to take him out because he will not slow down. And this is how he practices, and this is how he plays.
Livingston College played in the USFL and the Canadian Leagues. Turned out to be quite a find for Green Bay at just 27 years of age. Now an important cog. But he's in front of the Packers. Second down, and they give out the right side to Bryant, and he's shut down. Flips on the natural turf here, but had nowhere to go as he was cut off at the pass by Ken Stills.
Stills and Mark Lee, weak safety in the left corner, did a good job of staying inside, keeping him. One had him outside, one had him inside. So Bryant said, I'll just go on down.
Stills was a backup as a rookie, the number 8 choice out of Wisconsin a year ago, and has won the job at free safety for Green Bay this year. Now Gary Hayes and David Greenwood have come in along with Ezra Johnson. And with passing down, 3rd and 6 for the Redskins. Green Bay's 46. Lots of time for Schrader, and he connects to Bryant. Tripped up from behind, but he has a first down at the 30-yard line of Green Bay. Bobby Leopold, the linebacker, number 53, had the coverage and made the tackle.
The thing that's so amazing about Kelvin Bryant is that he is used as a running back some. Primarily, he's in the Joe Washington mold. The old Gibbs offense where in the 3rd down they bring in an elusive back, run options, get him the football in open field. Good job by Bryant of beating Leopold. Good job by Schrader of finding him.
What a dangerous weapon for the Redskins. Kelvin Bryant, who played brilliantly in the USFL after a distinguished college career at North Carolina. Rodgers back in and runs into traffic at the line of scrimmage, got about 2 yards. Leopold made the initial contact. Bobby Leopold, number 53 from Notre Dame, is a free agent who's getting a start outside today with Noble moving inside where he played last year. John Dorsey, who has a shoulder injury, sitting down today. He has been the inside linebacker and quite a story out of Connecticut, battled his way in as a starter. Horace Gregg kind of player, but with that shoulder, they decided to sit him today, and Noble awfully tough inside. 2nd down and 8. Rodgers Cole closed on him after he had an initial glimmer of daylight, and it was Brian Noble, number 91, and Leopold making the hit on him. About a yard gain. Let's go to Brent Musburger again in New York.
Still made the initial contact.
Complete touchdown, Ricky Sanders. Sanders alertly looking back to the ball before Monty Cade, the defender, did. Got position and made the catch.
The thing that's so amazing about this is the job by Schrader and Sanders, but the read by Sanders, because the blitz is actually coming to Schrader's right. Schrader senses it, turns around, immediately throws the quick takeoff. Great adjustment by Sanders. He beats Mossy Cade, goes in for the touchdown. But the read by Sanders to see the safety blitz coming all the way from the right, Tim, is the thing that impresses me the most.
Ricky Sanders, the first-year man out of the USFL, just activated a few weeks ago. Played his college ball at Southwest Texas State and had even more speed to that wide receiving core of the Redskins. Zendejas, who's had his problem, hit the upright. Max Zendejas, unsuccessful on 3 conversions last week in that thriller against Minnesota, hits the upright.
Like missing snaps.
Well, one of the kickings in Zendejas continues to have his problems. Max here now with Washington after being drafted by the Cowboys. They dropped Mark Mosley, and Max Zendejas is now 8 of 12 on points after touchdown. It is Albert Watt with the return and a near breakaway for Watt over the 45-yard line to the 47. Tim Morrison got him there, a 36-yard return.
Third part, of a football team is the special teams, kickoff, punt, etc. You're going to see Watts take it up the right side. He kicks to the left side, then you take it up that side. Good blocking now. He's just out there isolated man for man. He gets by Green and then finally he's brought down. Good job.
So Green Bay with outstanding field position to start this second drive. They lead 7-6. On first down, it is Kenneth Davis, number 36, the rookie from TCU, at 56 yards in the opening scoring drive for Green Bay.
Now the thing we saw in the opening drive by the Packers was running to the left, getting in, hooking Manley and hooking Darrell Grant inside and getting Davis outside. Redskins will make adjustments now, and I would expect them not to be able to get out wide. They will force them back inside.
Ed West playing at tight end for the injured Dan Ross. We've had no further report. He went for x-rays on his leg. Second down and 7. Up the middle, it is picked off. Neil Olkowitz. First down, Redskins at the 38-yard line of Green Bay. West, the intended receiver. Olkowitz, the versatile middle linebacker, seeing it and grabbing it.
That time Wright got a little bit too anxious to get the ball to Davis quickly. He saw the blitz coming up inside. Now he panicked a little bit and throws too soon. Notice this. Had he waited one step, then Davis would have cleared Olkowitz and he would have had a big play.
Yeah, I think it was Ed West, the tight end, coming off the line there, the intended receiver, Terry. But the point is that Olkowitz, as you rightfully pointed out, was right Johnny on the spot. And now Washington, with the first turnover, has a first down at the 39-yard line of Green Bay. Rogers gets a couple to about the 36-yard line of the Pack. Bright sunny skies, but how cold is it? Well, the ink in my ballpoint pen is frozen up, if that's any indicator.
Well, that would be all I would need to know if someone would have asked me how cold it is, and you say, well, the ink in my ballpoint pen is frozen. I would say it's cold.
Well, I can see you're suffering the effects, but that's because you're a Louisiana guy. 37-yard line. Second and 8. Redskins. Intercept by Olkowitz. Schrader lots of time. Diving try by Didier, incomplete. Make it Warren, number 85. Unable to haul in the pass. Pretty good coverage on him. A diving attempt by Warren.
Trying to get Warren through the middle on linebackers and let him sit down and find a little spot. Now, Warren doesn't catch that many footballs. He's normally they keep him in as a blocker. So you'd have to say that Warren says, hey, I'm not really used to catching the football, and I'm not used to catching it 5 below 0 either.
Well, that's the wind chill factor. That's how it feels to those guys. 21 degrees above a kickoff. No snow. I guess they're grateful for that. Third down. Deep drop by Schrader. Stumbled and now a run. Stopped at the 35-yard line. Tripped up by Tim Harris. And it's fourth down. Washington at the 35 of Green Bay. So the Packers defensively do their job after the turnover. Olkowitz's interception of Randy Wright.
You can say to yourself, we did a good job that time of getting the pressure on Schrader, but one of the unfortunate things about pressuring Schrader is he's equally dangerous as a runner at UCLA. A brilliant runner, 4.65 speed. He gets outside, he can make a lot of things happening with his legs.
Walter Stanley, the deep man, but it'll be Cox trying to stick it in the corner there if he can. Be in the end zone and through. So the Pack has stopped the Redskins, and Green Bay will start first down from their own 20-yard line when we return to Lambeau Field. The Packers by 1. Tim Ryan, Terry Bradshaw in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That scene looks like Green Bay. Forrest Gregg probably thinks this is our kind of weather. He remembers playing many chilly afternoons in Lambeau Field. It is first down, Green Bay at the 20-yard line. That is Carruth, Paul Ott Carruth from Alabama. Played behind Joe Cribbs in the USFL and signed on here this year with Green Bay. And we are told that in some parts of the country we're having some picture difficulties and transmission problems out of Green Bay. We apologize for that. Our ace technicians all along the line are trying to fix it up for you, and hopefully we'll have it all together for you soon. Gain of 2 for Paul Ott Carruth. OTT, that's his second name, and apparently a relative of baseball great Mel Ott.
Bubba Ray.
Yeah,
Billy
we've
Bob.
wound down
Johnny Joe.
to the
Paul
end of
Ott.
the first quarter here. That's when they asked him, is it,
Timmy
you know?
Joe Ryan.
Bubba Ray, you bet. Paul Ott Carruth. Beginning the second period in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 2nd and 8, the Packers at their own 22. Carruth for about 1.5 yards. Olkowitz, the middle linebacker, made the tackle, number 52. Along with Charles Mann and Terry, the Packers going to the run. It worked for them effectively in their opening series. It leaves a 3rd down and 7.
The thing that's happened now is Manley's coming up the field and not allowing Rutgers to hook him and push him down inside. So now Dexter's going upfield, so now they're running back inside. That's the adjustment so far made by Richie Pettibone for his defense.
Shotgun formation, first time today. Wright is 3 of 4 passing. Phillip Epps in motion. Short pass is complete to Epps. First down yardage to the 40-yard line. Darrell Green and Barry Wilburn on the tackle. First down Packers, 16-yard gain.
Flooding the zones, getting the wide receivers and trying to drive these safeties deep, and then taking Epps and crossing him all the way across the field, putting Green behind him, actually in a chase position. He catches the football. Big job there, big play.
First down Green Bay at their own 39-yard line where they have spotted the ball. The speedy Epps goes out to the left, James Lofton out to the right. Carruth and Davis, the running back. Play action. Wright is dropped by Charles Mann. Mann just fought off the block of Weingrad and buried Wright as he was about to release the football. First sack of the day.
Just strength versus strength, as you're going to see. Weingrad, 73, the right tackle. Mann actually just runs right over Weingrad, pushes him to the ground, and makes the sack. That just simply wasn't a great move left side. The swim technique, the underarm technique, that was just boom, just plain brute strength.
Monty Coleman into the game for the first time, activated yesterday following his injured reserve status with a hamstring problem, and he is now in at the left linebacker spot, replacing Calvin Daniels there. Second down and 15 Packers. Wright, complete, intercepted on, dropped. It'll be an incomplete pass as West had the ball momentarily. Rich Malott nearly had a pickoff, and he's unhappy as he couldn't hold on to the ball.
West, the tight end, playing in the place of Ross, actually had Rich Malott beaten, but you've got to wonder, notice the ball's thrown behind him, Tim. You've got to wonder what the wind is like throwing into that wind. It's imperative that a quarterback throw the football with a lot of velocity, otherwise that wind will get it and just throw it in the ground, throw it behind him. And in that case, you've got to wonder if not the wind was a problem then.
Well, we've got a crosswind going from the booth across the field, if you will, so it's going to be a problem for both quarterbacks. Low snap to Wright on third down. He's buried. 3 Redskins are in there. Dexter Manley, Coleman, and Hamilton.
Not a lot you can do about this. As you can notice, Dean, 32 in the middle of your screen, up tight, giving Wright the impression of a blitz, but what difference does it make? As you can see then, Coleman, Manley, Jordan, Hamilton, all of them beat their people and get in and share the sack.
So it will be punted from the 15-yard line. Ken Jenkins, the deep man, as Don Brocken's punt hangs up in that wind somewhat and comes down at the 35-yard line. So the Redskins will have good field position, and powerful defensive work by Washington stops the Green Bay drive. We'll be back. The Packers by 1. Terry Bradshaw, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, 7-6 the Packers lead. A touchdown pass from Randy Wright to Philip Epps. And Schrader connecting with Sanders for the Redskins. Busted play, and Schrader will have to dive down behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of about a yard. Charles Martin to meet him there. A missed point after by Zendejas, the difference in the game through the first period. It'll be second and 11. There's Charles Martin, the 27-year-old third-year man from Livingston College in 2 other leagues, the USFL and the Canadian Football League. Second and 11. Didier in motion behind the ball. Schrader up the middle of Monk. Hauled down, a late flag on the play after a gain of about 7 for Art Monk, who has now caught passes in 53 consecutive games. Had 6 against the Vikings last week in that overtime thriller. 45 on the season coming into the game. Offensive pass interference charged against Washington. A little push off there, Terry. Do you speculate?
Well, you gotta imagine that's what happened, Tim. I'm going to be the smart one here.
Pass interference number 81. 10 yards, second down.
Against Monk, who caught the ball, and that may be why he came free in the middle there for Jay Schrader to find.
I was going to say I'm going to be the smart one and let the ref make the call, but evidently that's what he saw, so they called it on Monk. That time, the thing that was interesting was Green Bay only rushed 3 people, guessing that the Redskins would throw the football. They dropped everyone back into the pass coverage.
Now, Green Bay defensively, we pointed out, been a pretty decent football team despite their 1-8 record, and when you consider they lost Tim Lewis, a fine starting corner for the season, having to move Mossy Cade over there and Tiger Green in at safety. Well, a little razzle-dazzle there. Screen pass is what it winds up being. Don Warren, and good coverage by the Packers. A gain of about 9 yards will still leave third and nearly 12. We have time for an NFL update from Brent Musburger in New York.
The screen to Clint and Didier. Lee makes the tackle.
The Vikings trying to get to 6-4 in the NFC Central Division behind the Chicago Bears, and gave Washington all kinds of fits last week before finally succumbing in overtime to these Redskins, who are 3rd and 11 here in Green Bay. Schrader for Clark, and it's incomplete. Off his fingertips, and then took a shot from David Greenwood, and on his second try to grab the ball, couldn't haul it in. Clark gets up a little slowly. He is a tough guy.
Clark running free in the zone. Schrader tries to hit him between the corners and the safeties, and Greenwood making great ball reaction. Right when the football is thrown, Greenwood breaks on the football, and about the time the ball gets to Clark, Greenwood gets there and knocks him loose from it.
David Greenwood, a free agent cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier in the year after a good short career in the USFL. Tampa Bay gave him a shot, thought he was too slow, but he's fitting in well with the Packers. Washington will have to punt. Cox to Walter Stanley. Cox hits from his own 27-yard line. Stanley at the 30. Picked his way through traffic to the 35-yard line. And the Packers will start from there after a 34-yard punt from Steve Cox. Keith Griffin made the tackle for the Redskins on the specials team. 11 minutes, 11 seconds to play here in the first half. 2 touchdown passes, one by Wright, one by Schrader, accounting for the scores to Philip Epps of the Packers, Ricky Sanders of Washington, but a missed point after by Max Zendejas. The difference in the score at the moment. First down, Packers. Davis gets about 3 flags everywhere. Kenneth Davis, the rookie from TCU, their #1 choice this year. Grant and Mann made the tackle.
5-yard face mask, number 65.
Dave Butts, the 14-year man from Purdue. Interesting talking to these guys last night when the Redskins arrived, characterizing the various personalities. Manley, the well-known, outspoken man of that defensive front. Curtis Jordan says, old Dave doesn't say much at all.
No, he said Dave walks up, does his job, walks back. Dexter walks up screaming and hollering, runs back again screaming and hollering. That's kind of the way they play their game, too.
Trying to get wide. Davis, and looks like he has the first down yardage. Barry Wilburn made the tackle. Flagman over there still had first down up. Either his hands are frozen or his mind is.
They're going to have to measure this.
He's been having a couple of problems on that marker over there. That's a down. It's going to be close to a first down. The forward progress appeared to have given it to him, but now they've spotted the ball back short of the first down marker, but they will measure.
They've had that success running wide to the left side. Then Pettibone changed his defense, forcing him to run inside, but the thing Packers have not done is run the same plays to the right side, so they're not having that much success to the left. Let's look for them to come back with that same group of plays and try it on the right side.
Randy Wright made a mild complaint and then shows Forrest Gregg we need about an inch to get the first down.
Last year, Wright said the difference between our short conversions on third down and 1 and 2, we would throw a 16-yard pass. He said this year on third 1 and 2, we're throwing 5 and 6-yard passes, and we're being more effective, and that end lies a major difference.
Well, a hat blew off one of the yardage marker holders, and that's the kind of wind that's blowing down there on this football field, and up high where the flags are standing out dead straight. Third down and second down, and about an inch. And it was a third down play. I'm following that guy on the marker, and he's been wrong more than once today. Davis gets the mileage and a first down to the 49-yard line.
Same play they ran on the goal line earlier when I said if they'll keep this ball and pitch it to the remaining back, they'll have a huge gainer. They ran it again. They handed it to Davis, and Ellis once again, Tim, was wide to the left and absolutely no one around him.
First down, Green Bay from their 49-yard line. Kenneth Davis has 70 yards rushing. In this first half, we've still got 9:46 to go. Forrest Gregg said, go get number 1, and he's doing his job. Davis again. Gets about 3. Good defensive reaction. Olkowitz. Hard to fool Neil Olkowitz. 8 years in the league. Reacts so well on the keys and got out there to make that stop.
That time running off right tackle. Doing a good job turning around. Like I said, running on Weingrad to right tackle. Hooking. He's doing a thing earlier that we saw Rutgers doing. Getting inside that time of man, hooking in, forcing him inside, allowing the running back to go outside wide.
Second down, they gave him 2. Out to Davis, he stumbled, but there were 3 Redskins waiting for him. Olkowitz, Charles Mann, and Ken Coffey came up from the safety spot, number 48. That'll be third down, Green Bay, and about 5, a long 5 we'll call it, for a first down. Into the lineup comes Eddie Lee Ivory. He's been converted to wide receiver this year, but still takes the practice position at running back as well, in case they need him there. He's now wide to the right. Todd Bowles in as an extra defensive back on his third down play. From the shotgun. Right, complete. Stanley, first down, Green Bay, to the 35 of the Redskins. Flag down back at the line of scrimmage. And the holding call is the preliminary signal against Green Bay. Might have been Ked Rutgers out on that left side. He's got Manley to deal with.
Offensive holding number 75. 10 yards, third down.
Rutgers, the second-year man from USC.
Well, we've seen the battle all day long between Rutgers and Dexter Manley. He's gotten the better of Manley, actually, but Manley coming on strong on the pass rush. Notice the arm up underneath to get that power up underneath Rutgers by Manley, and then Rutgers says, okay, fine, let me just hold you and take you to the ground. And that's exactly what he did, and they popped a little flag on him.
They're down in 15. Forrest Gregg thinks Rutgers is going to be a real good one. He was the #1 pick out of USC a year ago. Still learning, still building confidence. Right, and he's short, intended for Epps, and took quite a hit from Dave Butt as he released the football.
Well, I don't know if they're booing the fact that Wright was hit by Butts or the fact that Wright underthrew Epps, because Epps had turned Green all the way around and was wide open for a 20-yard gain. Green was another 10 yards deeper.
So the Pack will have to punt. Randy Wright came into the game at 53% passing on the season, 14 interceptions, leading the conference in that negative category. Bracken's punt. Taken at the 15, bobbled by Jenkins, but Jenkins winds up with a good return to the 28-yard line of the Redskins. And a Packer slow to get up. That's Ivory, but makes it to his feet. A flag down on the punt play back at the line of scrimmage. 43-yard punt by Bracken. And the penalty will be against Green Bay. Redskins discussing it. They had a pretty good return from Ken Jenkins, but it looks like they're going to make Green Bay punt it again. Well, I see Bradshaw's changed uniforms here. A little
Illegal
warmer
motion
jacket.
on the offense, number 54. 5 yards, 4th down.
Well, when I left Dallas, Texas, it was 77 degrees, and it's 5 below zero. So now I have something on to keep me warm.
You're going to have to bring your thermals here. We're in the second half of this season. We'll be in some cold spots before it's over. 4th down again, and Bracken has the penalty backed him up another 5. He gets a good kick, backs up Jenkins, who calls the fair catch. And they'll spot it at the 19-yard line. Don Bracken, who had 3 50-yard punts last week against Pittsburgh, comes up with a 44-yarder in the win here. 7:28 to go first half. Gusting winds in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Sellout crowd at Lambeau Field. This is a real pleasant day for serious Green Bay Packers fans. No snow, no ice. First down, Washington. George Rogers gets 5 to the 25-yard line. Schrader is 2 of 4 passing. Last week against Minnesota, he threw the ball 47 times, including the winning touchdown pass to Clark in overtime. But the plan today, run the football, and Terry, they have yet to throw it on first down. So Joe Gibbs, in this 1-point game, sticking to the game plan. 2nd down and 5. 6:57 to go first half. Slot left. Rogers stuffed right at the line of scrimmage by Bobby Leopold. Leopold, not a big linebacker, a little bit of concern as to whether he can do the job out there at that spot normally occupied by big Brian Noble. But Noble inside for the injured John Dorsey today. So Leopold gets the job done on that play.
They rotate their coverage to the side that they blitzed their linebacker. At that time, Leopold coming in from the right side, they rotated their coverage that way. Coaches pick that up, and you can come back and work your passing schemes.
Ricky Sanders in the lineup with Clark. Some speed at outside receiver now, and Kelvin Bryant as well. The pass out to Bryant out of the backfield, and Bryant has a first down to the 32-yard line of the Redskins. Gary Hayes made the stop, number 27.
Every time they get in a short passing situation, Bryant is in the football game, and they run the little options. Earlier we saw him beat Leopold for a 16-yarder. Now you see him come down inside, actually. That's Monk now outside. There he is. He hitches, makes a little hitch in between the linebackers, and then fights up and gets the first down.
Joe Gibbs, in addition to admiring the physical skills of Bryant, loves his attitude. He said he's real hard on himself. He made some mistakes in his first game back last week, and he was as upset as the coaching staff and determined to do better today. First down. Schrader. It's complete to Monk. Monk gets only 2 or 3. Good coverage. Brian Noble wrapped him up immediately.
The passing attack the Redskins wanted to use today with being able to complement their running attack, Tim. In talking to Schrader, he said, we're going to throw short to medium range passes. Now, Short is 5 yards. Medium is 15. Today, so far, we just see Monk catch a 4-yard pass. We've seen Bryan catch a 16-yarder, which really was a 5-yard pass turned into 16 yards and a 6-yarder. So he's keeping that in mind and operating the offense well.
Second, and we'll call it a long 6. Monk in motion, a little hesitant motion to drive. And they go right up the middle of Bryant. Good defensive job by the Packers. Brian Noble, the second-year man from Arizona State.
The thing you have to be able to do in an offense when you're running the football is if you have success, Tim, the teams will take away that success, and you have to go to other types of blocking. Well, the blocking the Redskins like to do is drive blocking. Just get into the defensive guy's face and let the backs pick the hole. So therefore, their scheme never changes. It's always the same running style.
It leaves a 3rd and 5. Packers bounce around defensively here. And they've got a guy way back playing center field. Schrader goes short to Clark. He's hit immediately, but it looks like he has first down yardage. Monty Cade made the tackle. The fans don't like the call, but the official was right on the play. Where he caught the ball is where the first down will be. He was driven back 4 yards.
The key is Schrader and Clark. Clark's read is, if you read zone, the first guy you clear, slow down. This time he clears the corner. He slows down. Schrader sees it, turns around, and drills him the football now. Clark ran a smart route. He got up 2 yards beyond the marker to get the first down. And then, of course, as you can see there, he was driven by McCade back, making it look like it was short.
Line judge Ron D'Souza on the spot makes the call, and a first down, Redskins. And Rogers slips down, but again, even if he was on his feet, 4 Packers were waiting for him, led by Bobby Leopold. And Carricker and Randy Scott, along to lend some company. So some gang tackling by the Packers, making that running game difficult for Washington.
All of this was made possible by the exchange of Bostic and Schrader. They fumbled that exchange. Schrader regrouped, gathered in the football. By then, the blocking scheme was no good. Rogers had nowhere to go.
Second down and 14 now for Washington at their own 40-yard line. 2:46 remaining first half. And the Packers lead 7-6 in this point after by Zendejas. The margin. Art Monk in motion. Screen pass. Kelvin Bryant tackled from behind. After a gain of only 3, Robert Brown, defensive end number 93, with a good defensive play.
So many times you'll see defensive ends make big plays. We had a game earlier where we saw a defensive end intercept a screen pass. And the thing that happened was when Brown got inside, he noticed, hey, this is too easy. I'm not supposed to be able to get in here and make it look like I'm going to get a sack. He turns around and says, oh, a screen, turns around and makes the play.
Virginia Polytechnical Institute, proud of Robert Brown, and we've reached the 2-minute warning here at Lambeau Field on a cold, windy day in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Packers lead by 1. Stay warm here in Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and so far the Green Bay Packers with that slight edge. The missed point after by Zendejas. 2 impressive opening drives. Green Bay taking the opening kickoff for a score. Washington doing the same on the next possession. Since then, the defenses have taken over. 3rd and 11, Redskins at their 42. That pass underthrown, intended for Kelvin Bryant. On the coverage was Tiger Green, but Schrader didn't get the ball out there to Bryant, and Washington will have to punt. You know what? I had to ask Jay Schrader last night. We saw him take a couple of dips, if you will, there. The New Orleans game, they won it. He didn't really throw well. Against Dallas, not his best day of the season, but he's bounced back so well since then. You know, his confidence level is just terrific. You know, you say, well, were you worried about that? No, not at all. Just, you know, I just didn't throw well those 2 games. Shake it off. Is that the way you looked at it?
He hasn't, no. He hasn't been in the league long enough to have enough bad things happen to him to really let it affect him. Right now, he's just a pleasant surprise and a wonderful young man to spend time with, and he hasn't experienced enough negative things to really have him worrying.
Stanley let that punt by Cox get by him. The fans here are a little concerned that he may have touched it, but Stanley knew he hadn't, and wisely let that floating ball up in that crosswind just roll back there. So Green Bay will start from there when we return. First down from their own 14-yard line. Randy Wright, third-year man from Wisconsin, fought off a number of quarterbacks this year to get the starting job, now trying to keep it. Deep downfield, intended for Lofton, overthrows him. On the coverage back there was Barry Wilburn, number 45 of the Redskins. Second down, Green Bay. Well, don't forget that later this afternoon, the New York Giants will play the Philadelphia Eagles here on CBS, and Washington Redskin fans certainly interested in that one. Tied with the Giants, the Redskins are at 7-2. The Dallas Cowboys at 6-3 are at home against the Raiders. We'll have this one for you here on CBS, the Giants and Philadelphia. The Eagles, tough at home under Buddy Ryan's defensive team, 3-6. They still can be awful tough against the New York Giants later today here on CBS Sports. Second and 10. Shotgun formation. Randy Wright hands it off for Caruth, and he is to make it Eddie Lee Ivory, number 40, coming off the wing. And the Redskins didn't buy that at all. No gain on the play.
One of those surprise plays. They tried to throw the football earlier deep, and I thought it was a good play. Get it down there deep. Maybe something good will happen. Then you come back with a little draw trap. That's just a delayed draw trap, trying to get the ends up the field, and then all of a sudden they think pass, and then you, boom, you hit them with a trap. That time they got nothing out of it. You know, I like Wright. You know,
we're going to come back and talk about Wright. Right now we want to remind you about college football. Next Saturday, doubleheader, game one, you'll see the Ohio State Buckeyes against the Badgers of Wisconsin. After losing the first two games of the season, the Buckeyes have come back strong and are in the thick of it for the Big Ten crown. Then you'll see UCLA against Washington or Clemson. Did I get that right?
That's
this
right.
time?
Clemson. You got to put that P in there.
Let me hear it again.
Clemson.
Oh, Clemson. Okay. Clemson. I'm working on that.
There you go.
Clemson against Maryland.
That's it.
Check the local listings for the game in your area. That's next Saturday on CBS Sports.
There's our man. Wright had a nice talk with him, looking at his eyes. I like to look at a quarterback's eyes because you can tell if he's been sincere. And Wright was certainly sincere with me. I asked him about Forrest Gregg's comment in the papers that there's a possibility that this job's going to go up for grabs regardless of the fine year that he has had personally. And he said, I welcome the challenge. I have no qualms about that. It's his decision, and it's just another challenge I'll have to face and handle.
He's got third down to handle here, and 9, a low snap, and he fields it well. And now throwing for Lofton, incomplete. No question he was messed up by the snap he had to field and threw that ball a little prematurely. Green Bay will have to punt.
Well, that's a pass that you have to anticipate. It's such a deep pass. Actually, by the time Lofton had made his break outside, he was 25 yards downfield. Another 8 yards added. That's a 38-yard pass plus 8 yards. That's a 50-yard pass. It's important that he anticipated. Did a good job. Unfortunately for him, it was incomplete.
Ken Jenkins awaiting the punt of Don Bracken. Bracken and just gets it away. The rush on, and Bracken, a good job to unload a flag down, probably running into or roughing the kicker. And it was Terry Orr who had the big rush on Don Bracken. And what a job he did to get the ball off, and he got it all the way out to the 43-yard line.
It looked like he improvised a little bit, and realizing that the ball was going to be blocked, he actually ducked underneath and kicked it from a kind of a sitting position. I don't know how in the world he got that football off.
That was a great job, and I think they're going to
Running into the
there
kicker,
it is.
defense 87, that's a 5-yard penalty, and that's a first down.
That's Terry Orr making a good effort to block the punt. So often that'll happen to a guy. Makes a great effort, but winds up contacting the kicker.
You're going to see once again, now he fumbles the snap, now he realizes, now look at this, just kind of ducks up underneath. Show me where it is. Show me where roughing the kicker was, Tim.
Well,
I didn't see it, did you?
Now here's Terry Orr saying,
All
hey,
right.
I didn't really touch him.
Okay, Orr comes in, he misses the block. Gosh, from that position, I honestly can tell you I can't see
Might
it.
have been a little bit of contact, but that's a tough one there. Bracken did a great job getting the ball off. Packers, meanwhile, get a first down. And a flag on this play to get it off to Gary Ellis, and what a defensive job out there by Darrell Green.
One of the problems with the Packers that they've had all year is penalties. Last week in Pittsburgh alone, 9 penalties against the Steelers. The week before that against San Francisco, 14 14 penalties. So the Packers have hurt themselves with costly penalties.
Now here they get the first down on the running into the kicker
Offensive
penalty.
holding number 75.
And Rutgers gets called for holding.
Well, it looks like this is leveled off now. Rutgers got the better of Manley early. Manley maybe a little embarrassed. Who knows what he was thinking, but now he's come on strong and given Rutgers all he can handle. Rutgers, the only way he can obviously handle Manley is by holding him.
Manley already with a half sack to his credit today. And Manley coming into the game with 11.5, tied for the NFL lead in that category, having what should be for him a Pro Bowl year. He can keep it up over the second half, and if he gets the votes from all those tackles around the league, it's first and 20. Gary Ellis finds a hole and batters his way to the 20-yard line. Curtis Jordan and Darrell Grant made the tackle there. It'll leave 2nd and 10 for Green Bay with 58 seconds winding down here in the first half. And a timeout on the field. A little conversation there for Randy Wright from, I think that was Charles Mann. Meanwhile, shortly we'll be going to our studios in New York, the NFL Today, with Brent Irvin, Ali Sherman will be the guest today. Scores and highlights, plus from holdout to silent hero, Joe Morris, the big reason behind the Giants' success, and they're coming up later against the Eagles here on CBS. And Butler will report on that story. So an interesting halftime as always on the NFL Today. 58 seconds remaining in the first half, and then we'll go to New York. There's Curtis Jordan. He's a fun guy always to talk to. And last night after Dexter Manley came in his boardroom attire, three-piece suit, looked real sharp. In comes old Curtis there, kind of in Euro Texan, I would say. You know,
Curtis had on some funny-looking tennis shoes. He had his breeches on, and they were big old balloon-looking breeches, and he had the name tag was stuck on the zipper part. He said it was the latest style, and I had talked to him in Washington earlier in the year, and he had this diamond in his left ear. Of course, I didn't say anything to him about the diamond. I wasn't about to, but yesterday I said, "Do you have your diamond on?" He said, "Yeah."
Ed Stanley and Lofton, 3 wide receivers in. Shotgun on 2nd down. They swing it out for Ellis, overthrown, incomplete. And Green Bay will have to punt with 54 seconds left. Yeah, old Curtis says that, well, Dexter, he says he's the high-end dresser on the team, and I'm the low-end. But he is a fun guy. But one thing about Jordan, you know, he's a fun guy to talk to out the field. He takes his game so seriously. He said, you know, I got to make some big plays. He said, I haven't really been doing the job I'd like to.
He said he's been in a slump the last couple of weeks, and, you know, of course, today we saw that Coffey has been put out for Walden. Walden's come in, and Wilbur, 45, is in for Dean. So they've made some changes in their secondary. And quite honestly, Curtis says, I haven't played as well as I should, and you can't force those things. If you do force it, then you get worse. He said, I've got to learn just to relax and let it happen.
Again, I read that down marker, and it is 3rd down. I apologize for that. And they try just the inside handoff here to Caruth, and that gets boos from the crowd. They want him to go for it here.
Well, I would want him to go for it, too, but with 49 seconds left in the first half, a 7-6 lead, the wind's blowing, it's cold. Forrest Gregg is saying it's too much for us to gamble on. We might get a fumble, might get an interception. Let's let our outstanding kicker pop it down there about 40 yards, and then our defense is playing so well, we'll go ahead and go into this halftime locker room with a 7-6 lead.
Well, you know, I said one indication of the cold is the pens. The ballpoint pen ink is all frozen up here. Well, I think the yardage marker's hand guy over there is frozen up too, because he hadn't been flipping that thing on target all day. But we do know it is 4th down.
Well, it may. You know, that marker could very well be stuck. The coldest game I ever played in, Tim, was in Buffalo, and it was a -43 on the field. And to be very honest with you, I didn't admit this then, but I will now that it doesn't matter. I finally just, there you are, there's the marker. Got his hands, it's got to be stuck together.
Now, his hand is frozen to that metal there. See, that's the problem.
Looks like ice cubes hanging above the top of the floor there. But I took myself out of that Buffalo game. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything.
That's how you dealt with the cold game? You took yourself out of it?
Well, I was old then. I'm older now, but I was real old then.
Jenkins waiting for the punt by Bracken. See if the Redskins get that rush. They're showing it. Here they come. And nearly blocked again by Orr. And a flag comes down again against Terry Orr, and he is unhappy. And there's Clarence Verdam.
Now, The thing that they are so upset is not the fact that the flag was thrown, but when it was thrown. The punt had already hit the ground before Bright threw the flag at the defensive person. Now, let's watch.
He's reaching for it, though, Terry.
Okay, well, let's see if he's reaching for it.
Defense running into the kicker. 5 yards, first down.
Okay, now he's pulling out the flag. He's looking at the football. Why is he looking at the football? Just go ahead and throw the flag. Looks to me like he got a piece of the football.
Well, that's back judge down right. It looked to me like he just was having trouble getting the flag out of his back pocket. Don't forget, his hands are cold, too. Nonetheless, 2 in a row against Terry Orr and first down Green Bay. Now, they're going to do the same thing. 41 seconds left. They weren't trying to get downfield. Did they try now?
I would suspect they're just going to run the clock out. That seems to be what they want to do.
25-yard line. They've got 3 wide receivers in, and they're going to run it. Davis with Hallstrom in front of him. Looks like he has first down at the 35. 33 seconds to play, first down.
Well, they showed now that they have the option in their offense. Now, here's what I don't understand. Why did you run a play, an option, and gain 9 yards or 10 yards, and then call a timeout? Why call a timeout? If you're going to kill the clock and just run it, just run.
Randy Wright had 3 pretty big games this year, despite the losing record. Won the victory over Cleveland and a couple of others in which he passed nearly 280 yards. And he's got a man.
Yes.
And out of bounds, perfectly executed. 27 seconds. They only used 6 on that one. A flag down back at the line of scrimmage. And a Packer down as well. And it might be Randy Wright.
It is Randy Wright.
21-yard pass on the play. That was an outstanding pass and catch from Wright to Stanley.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Randy Wright being attended to down there. The backup is Chuck Fusina. So we talked about how Randy Wright had held off the challenge of Jim Zorn, Vince Ferragamo. They brought back Lynn Dickey and then cut him.
Defense number 71 using the top of his head on a quarterback. 15.
Charles Mann, a definite no-no, getting the crown of his helmet onto Randy Wright.
It's bad enough that you hit a quarterback late. They're watching these guys. That's why the umpire stands right behind him. But to put your head on him, as what they say happens, then that's definitely a no-no. Randy's outside. Actually, he's in a running position. You can almost argue that point. But there's the head. Actually, Mann leads with the head. Absolutely no way you can do that. You can't do it on a running back, a tight end. You can't do it on anyone, and especially a quarterback.
Well, Wright still down and being attended to. A real unfortunate situation. 3-yard line of Washington. Chuck Fusina, without even a warm-up on this cold day, temperature's 20 degrees, comes in to throw the football and completes his first pass. Not much of a gain. It was caught by Caruth, knocked out of bounds by Monty Coleman and Darrell Green, and Randy Wright taken off to the Packer locker room. We'll certainly get you a medical report on him as quickly as we can.
Any other time you would question throwing the football for only what was a 2-yard gain, but I think it was a good decision this time by the quarterback Fusina just to get a completion, even if it's for no gain, just to get in there and get settled and get into the flow of this football game.
Former Penn State star, played in the USFL under Jim Moore, and now the Saints coach. Hands off inside to Caruth, and Caruth batters his way over left tackle, picks up about 3. 17 seconds on the clock. Timeout called by the Packers. They've got 1 remaining. So they have the ball now at the 24-yard line.
Tim, we've seen in the offense today by the Packers, Wright with the ability to get outside, they avoid the rush and throw on the run. Fusina at Penn State was that type of quarterback. Good athletic skills, good feet, was able to run, throw the football on the run. I would suspect now if they do decide to throw the football, for him to get outside. That way, if there's any kind of pressure at all, he'll see it quickly and be able to unload the football either to a receiver or throw it away and not get sacked. So let's look and see this time if maybe they use his skills and get him out wide and try to make something happen.
Forget they've got Robbie Bosco on injured reserve. He had shoulder surgery just last week, and they hope for big things from him in the future if he can recover from that. Former BYU star. But right now, the job is Chuck Bucina's with the injury to Randy Wright. Third down. Forced from the pocket. He's got it. Oh! Slides to the 20-yard line, does not get out of bounds, and time ticks off. And he had a man open in the end zone.
Eddie Lee Ivory had gone down the middle, split the safeties, saw Bucina scramble, turned around and ran to Bucina, was wide open.
From his right to his left. Del Greco is wide. So the Packers almost tentatively starting this drive back deep in their own zone with time winding down under a minute. Suddenly the big play by Randy Wright, the one in which he was hurt, having completed the pass to Stanley that got him down into Redskins. The Giants will be at Minnesota. Barry Bradshaw and I'll be there for that key battle. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. Dallas at San Diego. Last time the Buccaneers were here in Green Bay, they played in a blizzard. And as cold as it is today, they might be looking at that again next week. So the gun sounds ending the first half of play on a frigid afternoon at Lambeau Field, but the Packers hold a 1-point lead over the 7-2 Redskins at halftime. 16 minutes of the first half at 13:57. A little more than 2 minutes, to be more precise, and the short kickoff return to the 42-yard line by the tight end Terry Orr, and good field position to begin the second half for the Washington Redskins. Jay Schrader brings out the Redskins and 35 yards of rushing, and that season average is not what Joe Gibbs wants. They averaged 157 yards a game last year. They've got George Rogers, one of the outstanding rushers in the league. And even though they're 7-2, you're coming into the second half of the season trying to have that balanced attack that every football coach wants. They'd like to see better rushing. And you've got an offensive line as well regarded as the Redskins do. They're looking for better production. Brown and Martin put the stop on Rogers there after a gain of 3 yards for George Rogers to the 45-yard line of the Washington Redskins.
The pass that I would throw if I were a Redskin, and they throw it extremely well, Tim, is the little hitch, the one Clark caught last week that won the football game from. Little 5-yard hitch, corners playoff 5-yard hitch.
Second down and 7. We have Didier on the wing left, and now he comes in motion. Rogers, and he's got first down yardage. There's some rushing behind good blocking. Thielman and May. Randy Scott made the tackle for the Pack, but a first down for the Redskins as they get it now to the Green Bay 46-yard line.
Pulling both left guard, left tackle. Joe Jacoby, the left tackle, and Russ Grimm, 68, the guard. That time Grimm cut off the inside linebacker, and Jacoby kicked out the end, made a nice hole there for Rogers.
Rogers into the game, fourth in the conference with 790 yards rushing. 13 touchdowns. Rogers, and he is the ball carrier, hit behind the line of scrimmage. A driving tackle by Bobby Leopold. The outside right linebacker finding a little space and diving in to make the stop. No gain.
The top of your screen, you see Bobby Leopold, 53, coming straight down inside. Warren misses him. Warren's trying to hit him and cut him back inside, but Leopold beat Warren there to the block and made the stop.
So Schrader now looking at a 2nd and 10. At the 46 of Green Bay. Rogers again. Now make it Bryant. Kelvin Bryant over the 40 to the 39-yard line. And about a 7-yard gain for Bryant. The right side of that offensive line of the Redskins doing the job again. Carricker and Ken Stills made the tackle.
Same play they ran 2 plays ago, pulling both Grimm and Jacoby. Grimm kicking out, Jacoby kicking up inside, and then Roger getting in on their hip pocket and just following him. Watch your left of your screen. Notice Grimm pull. Now he'll get the first kick. He's going to kick out. There's the kick out on Harris, and then you see coming up inside Jacoby as he knocks down Scott, 55, the linebacker.
What they used to call the counter trey, now they call it the counter crunch. It certainly was effective there. 3rd down and 2. Rogers hits and still dives for the first down yardage to the 35-yard line. Pretty good lick on Rogers, but he spun off it, the 230-pounder, and got the first down for Washington. Stills had that first pop on him. The Redskins have been coming from behind this year, which has fed into that notion that they needed to improve their running offense. They've had to throw the ball because they've been trailing in 5 of 7 victories this season. And then obviously in the losing causes, of which there have only been 2, tied with the Giants, who play later today here on CBS against the Eagles. The Redskins and the Giants at 7-2. Big hole for Rogers. Flag down on the play after Rogers picked up close to 7 yards. Leopold on the tackle again.
Once again, same play. They're running this play every third play. If they are having success on first down, they're trying another play to the left, and they're coming right back with, as you say, the counter crunch with Grimm and Jacoby leading the way.
Offensive holding, number 69, 10 yards, first down.
R.C. Thielman, of whom Howie Long said holding is an art, and Thielman is a Picasso.
Look in the bottom of your screen, and Tillman, the right guard, number 69, and they're going to call him for holding. Grimm, Jacoby pull, Grimm down inside, left arm goes around. Well, there's no question there. That is holding.
So it is first down and 20. The ball now back at the 44-yard line of Green Bay. Burnell Dent has come in defensively for the Pack, the rookie from Tulane replacing Randy Scott. And what a tackle by Carricker, loose ball, and the Packers have apparently recovered it. Kelvin Bryant had it stripped by Carricker, and Green Bay gets the ball. The number 1 pick in 1984, Alfonso Carricker.
Thing Gibbs said we wanted to do. We want to get the football this week to Bryant, get him in the game, get the rust off. Well, he gets the rust off, they hand to him. Inside, Carricker knocks the ball out, actually with his right arm. Tim just swung it around and hit the football and knocked it right out.
Bryant didn't look like he had good possession of the handoff. It was kind of rolling across his chest. He was trying to get a hold of it, and Carricker knocked it loose. Well, this has not been a big category for Green Bay, so they're happy now to even up their turnovers. They had an interception taken away by Neil Olkowitz in the first half. But in that category, they are last in the NFC. So a big turnover for the Packers and a first down at their own 46-yard line. Forrest Gray casts a turn at this moment as he tries to stay warm down there like the rest of us. And this hardy Packer crowd enjoying the turnover opportunity. Chuck, you've seen it at quarterback. Kenneth Davis hit behind the line of scrimmage. Alvin Walton, the safety, the rookie from Kansas, coming up to make the stop for a loss on the play.
A lot is asked of the defensive backs of Washington, Tim. They like for them to get involved. This time Walton taking the place of Coffey, coming up, gambling on first down, coming in there, reading the pull, reading the play, and then exploding across the line of scrimmage, beating the blockers, and getting in and making a sack on Davis.
It'll leave second and 15, a 5-yard loss on the play. Alvin Walton getting the start for Ken Coffey today. Good saying Walton and Wilburn deserve the opportunity. They've been playing well when they've been in the nickels. You've seen a short drop, gets it off to Davis, hit immediately by Walton. Picked up about 2. It'll be 3rd and 2 for Green Bay at their 44-yard line. Alvin Walton, the number 3 choice this year, has just played better and better each game.
It's kind of an interesting game. Green Bay coming into this game being ranked last, 28 in the NFL rushing today. They're running the football well. Washington coming in saying, we have to run the football. We want to run the football. So far, here in the second half, doing a good job.
Coffey, Bowles, and Morrison in the secondary with Steve Hamilton as a pass rusher for the Redskins on 3rd and 13. Cena from the shotgun. He'll run it, and he is short of the first down. Sliding in to meet Tim Morrison, number 41. But the Packers will have to punt.
It's a good thing that Ucena has quick feet and quick eyes in the back of his head because Dexter Manley was coming full blast that time. He had gotten by Rutgers and had a clear shot at him, and just when he was reaching out to grab him, Ucena took off.
Don Bracken will hit it from his 40-yard line. An end-over-ender that Ken Jenkins lets bounce in front of him. Now it takes a Packer roll all the way to the 2-yard line where it's down, and the crowd loves that. Gary Hayes stops it at the 2. 48 yards for Don Bracken. And Jay Schrader and company will have to start from the shadow of their goal line. 20 degrees. Sunny skies in Green Bay. And the Packer faithful hollering for the defense to stop him here. Packers lead by 1. Intended for Gary Clark, low and in front of him. Terry Bradshaw, when you're in windy conditions like this, you see Jay Schrader trying to warm up the hand. What are the problems? Into the wind, against the wind. How do you like it?
Well, as a quarterback, and I talked to Schrader about this and asked him, would you rather throw against it or with it? He said, I'd rather throw against it. Coach Gibbs said, I want my quarterbacks to throw against it. I like to throw against it. It doesn't affect the up and down of the ball. It just, you have to throw it harder, and this kid can certainly throw it hard.
2nd and 10. The wind blowing cross field, actually, a little behind him at this point. And he fired that one, and Clark could not hold on. Schrader put a little extra on it after being short on the earlier one.
The one problem a quarterback will have in conditions like this is the fact that his hands, the top of his hands, will become numb because of the freezing temperatures. And that he doesn't have the grip, the feel for the football, which can mess up your rhythm. The first pass that he threw into the ground, I think that had something to do with it. The second one, he evidently compensated and drilled it in there, and Clark dropped it.
Well, Clark's going to have cold hands too, of course. What a season young Gary Clark has had. 50 catches coming into the game, leading the Redskins in that department. Third down, Kelvin Bryant got only to the 4-yard line for a gain of about 2. And so the Redskins will have to punt, and the Packers did the job.
One of the problems you can have for a young football team that has so many new faces in this Forrest Gregg Packer team is that a team like Washington, whom they've respected, is respected around the National Football League as being a great team. The Packers right now are playing so well, playing actually above themselves. Now they have, all of a sudden, the Redskins have woken up a sleeping giant. They're certainly playing inspired, aggressive football.
Well, you know they're going to be rushing here. Steve Cox standing at the end line. Good protection by the Redskins. Short punt into the wind. Bounced upfield, and Stanley buries it there at the 44-yard line of Washington.
Someone kicked that football.
Yeah, I thought it came off a foot.
It looked like it came off the foot of a Redskin.
They have one official marking it at the 32-yard line. And the ball did not appear to take a bounce, a natural bounce. It did appear to be propelled forward. The oncoming tacklers by the Redskins apparently made contact.
Let's see if we can see it, if in fact it was kicked by a Washington Redskin. As you see in the right of your screen, the ball is bouncing around. Well, we didn't see it, but you would have to think that it was kicked by a Redskin, Tim, because the ball went with the kicker. In other words, it was going with the way the guys were running and not with the way the guys were receiving. They would have been coming into the ball, therefore kicking it back towards the goal line.
Well, they did not give them that spot at the 32. They got it at the 43-yard line. It's still good field position for Green Bay.
You can tell Forrest Gregg is upset with the call because he's saying, hey, the Washington Redskins kicked this football. We should pick up another 10, 12 yards.
There it comes down. And who did it hit? It might have hit a Packer. I think it hit a Packer and landed right on his knee, Terry. It appeared in that replay. And the officials have apparently ruled it hit a Packer. It's going to be at the 42-yard line of Washington. First down. That is Caruth, Paul Ott Caruth, the Alabama rookie. Paul Ott doesn't have the same ring as Bubba Ray or Billy Joe.
No, it doesn't. Matter of fact, Paul Caruth has a little more cling to it than Paul Ott.
Well, there it is, Paul Ott. That's his name. That's how he says it. His daddy calls it. Dexter Manley and Calvin Daniels on the tackle for the Redskins. A 6-yard pickup for Caruth. Ball at the 37-yard line of the Redskins. The Packers lead by 1. A missed point after by Maxim Diaz that struck the upright. The margin in this game. Caruth is buried this time. Hit immediately by Darrell Grant as he arrived at the line of scrimmage. A gain of maybe a yard. Let's take you to Brent Musburger in New York for an NFL update. Well, old Jimmy Giles sure made that one look easy. Former Buccaneer. Pretty handy catch. 3rd down and 3.5 to go here. Green Bay with the ball at the Washington 36, and all kinds of early movement there. Manley nails the quarterback Fusina. Flags everywhere. And Manley, naturally, saying he was drawn over, got the green light from a Green Bay offensive lineman. Do the officials agree? Ben Bryce will make the decision.
Encroachment.
Well, it goes against the Redskins. We didn't hear a number from Ben Bryce, but encroachment the call.
Coach Gibbs said yesterday he is as concerned about this football game as any games he's had all year. As you can see, Manley 72. Now, I see no one moving on the offensive line. Rutgers 75, the left tackle, certainly didn't move. Darrell that time just envisioned someone moving, wanted to get a step on everyone and said, poof, away I go.
Dexter Manley charged with the infraction. It's 1st down, Green Bay in Washington territory. Davis, 7 yards to the 26-yard line. Kenneth Davis, the TCU rookie, having himself quite an afternoon.
Evidently, the talk that Forrest Gregg had with him, Tim, is paying off. Someone please take this by the nose. Someone grab a hold of this position and turn something out of it. Make something happen. Called Davis in, said, one more chance, son, it's yours. If you want it, take it. So far today, I think Davis is saying, I want it.
Gary Ellerson, the 2nd-year man for Wisconsin, the other man at that position, fumbled twice in the first 2 minutes of the game at Pittsburgh last week to hurt his cause. 2nd down and 4. Davis on the pass and hit immediately. Number 22, Curtis Jordan, waiting for him. Very little gain in the play.
Excellent coverage that time by Curtis Jordan, a free safety, reading the motion, running with him, giving Fusina a false read. Fusina says, whoa, look at this. Jordan's running with him. I'm going to be able to go deep man for man. But all of a sudden, Jordan backs off, gives him a false read, forces him to take the little short pass, comes up and makes the stop. Challenged me to a golf match. Can you believe it? Curtis Jordan, I said, what's your handicap? He said 12. He asked me what mine was. Of course, I lied and told him it was a 7. Pride, you know.
3rd down, and now they need a full 6. Fusina, the quarterback. Randy Wright out with a head injury. Fusina gets time, goes to the short man. Davis dropped the ball. Redskins have it. It is Washington ball. Neil Olkowitz, who intercepted Randy Wright back in the first half, has a fumble recovery here. The rookie Davis copped it up.
Fusina looking deep, trying to get the football into the end zone, knows he has young people, short people coming up underneath, turns around, finds Davis because the linebackers have dropped so deep you can't even see him on your screen. And then all of a sudden, 57 Malott comes up, he misses him, and then there's the hit by Olkowitz as he recovers the fumble.
So it is 1st down, Washington at the 22-yard line. Rader on 1st down, complete to Didier. All the way to the 47-yard line. 1st down pass, might have been the first down pass they've made all day. 26 yards on the play.
The difference between Didier this year and Didier last year when Theismann was throwing to him was his average per catch, 18-something this year, 14-something last year. All a result of the fact that Schrader, with a strong arm, likes to throw the football deep, and Didier, a tight end, wide receiver combination.
23 catches coming into the game today. Whittier in motion. Rogers hesitates, waiting for the hole to open, and picks up 5.
Ideal Gibbs football, Tim. Run one, throw, make a first down. Throw one, run one, make a first down. Combination, mix it up, in and out, in and out.
2nd and 5. Joe Gibbs alongside his offensive staff, all huddled up there on the cold wind of Lambeau Field. Bright sunny day, but darn chilly. 2nd and 5. Whittier in motion. Big hole. Rogers, first down and then some. All the way to the 32 of Green Bay.
Rogers.
Excellent move this time by Rogers, Tim. It's the same play we've seen all day, but this time he makes the dip inside, freezes the linebacker, and then goes outside. Look at the little move inside. Now back outside. There you go. Sets up his block on Lee and picks up a big first down.
15-yard gain. Ken Stills drove him out, and the crowd applauding some debris that blew literally the length of the field.
Well, that's part of the defense sign that's broken up here, and right now the defense for the Packers is a little bit broken up.
First down at the 32-yard line. Art Monk in motion. Schrader lots of time. Goes short to Didier, incomplete. Flag down on the play downfield.
Earlier we had seen this pass, and we were called, they were in Washington for pass interference offensively. Now we see it. I see the clapping by the Redskins, so that tells you right there that it's pass interference against the Packers.
Well, or what they'd like it to be.
There it is. Oh, personal foul. A little forearm there. Gosh, it's too cold to be using forearms. Who in the world would want to use a forearm at 5 below 0? It's like snap off like a stick.
Well, that's what they call a clothesline, isn't it?
Personal foul, number 9 that you want on the defense. Hit to the head, 15 yards. That's a first down.
Noble.
Ryan Noble. He wasn't so noble there.
Noble moved from outside linebacker to inside linebacker because of his aggressiveness, and actually they feel like he's better suited for inside. Stops the hole, the run real well, drops back in his little zones. Therefore, he got a little anxious, walked him right across the head with a forearm.
Yeah, I think he added a little Packer salute there for the call as well. But first down.
Packer salute, what is that?
What the?
Better not answer it, huh?
Inside the 20-yard line. Kelvin Bryant picks his way down to the 7-yard line. Nice piece of running by Kelvin Bryant, and Noble makes the stop there.
Noble made the tackle.
Just a good job by Bryant of being nice and patient in his running style, setting in behind the guards. You're going to see Didier in motion. There's Grimm pulling. There's Jacoby. Gets in behind him. Notices Grimm kicks out. Now he says, there's my big man, Jacoby. Gets in behind him and picks up big yardage. Smart running, good play. Same play we've seen it 10, 15 times.
That old counter crunch again. They'll measure here. He's close to first down yardage. They could be first and goal if they get it. It looks a little short, about the length of a football for a first down, and they're at the 7-yard line of the Green Bay Packers, trailing 7-6. We have not had a score since way back in the first quarter.
Seeing this position, Tim, and knowing that they need a foot for a first down brings back memories of my childhood in Green Bay Stadium when Bart Starr, my hero, used to come out here on these little situations and just play action and throw touchdowns. I've seen him do it, especially when he's backed up.
Second and a football. Let's see what Jay Schrader is thinking about, along with the offensive staff of the Redskins, who make the calls, unless he calls them off down there. If he calls it off here, he better be good. Bryant has the first down to the 5-yard line. So the Redskins will be first and goal. 2:15 to play, third quarter. Bobby Leopold made the tackle. Redskins strung out the left side. Art Monk in the slot. Now in motion the other way, Didier. Rogers hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped for a loss. Charles Martin, the nose man. Number 94 just rolled over the man in front of him, and that's the center, Jeff Bostic, made the stop.
Martin and Bostic, an interesting matchup, an all-pro against a youngster. Now, you can see Bostic is trying to get position on Martin and keep him back inside, but as strong as he is, he absolutely goes over Bostic. And normally, Tim, you'll notice that nose guards command double teaming. I don't think the respect of the Redskins is towards Martin yet. They don't think he's that good. Therefore, they think Bostic can handle him man for man.
Loss on the play of about 1.5 yards. 2nd and goal. Schrader, a little roll left, back the other way, incomplete. Really zipped it to Didier, but it was high and behind him.
Only thing you can say there as a wide receiver, I hope they have taken 2 pounds of air out of the football, because if he'd have gotten his hand on it, it would probably rip 2 fingers off.
It'll be 3rd and goal. Schrader checking the sideline for the signal. Mentioned Jeff Bostic having problems with Martin on that last play. I loved his comment about last week's game. R.C. Thielman said it was the most exciting game he'd ever played, that one against Minnesota at overtime. Bostic said, yeah, I heard it was a good game, but I didn't see much of it. That's life as a center in the NFL.
Well, you never think about it. Centers really don't see anything that happens.
3rd and goal. Blitz.
Oh,
Touchdown.
nice job.
Kelvin Bryant. Schrader patiently waited for him to come open, and open he came.
Beautiful job. That time the Packers sent their linebackers on a blitz. Schrader, knowing he had protection, set in there, and Bryant made out like he was going to block, and then he froze the linebacker and then just popped in right behind him for a nice, easy touchdown. Bryant in top right of your screen. Noble's got him. Look at Noble coming like he's going to block him. Then he just shoves him aside, goes inside of him. Easy touchdown.
Kelvin Bryant, and so the Redskins turn the fumble by the rookie Davis into a touchdown. Max Zendejas, he's made points after exciting. And he now going to have to wait a little bit longer as flags are down along the line of scrimmage before the ball came up.
Maybe they're going to back him up, penalize him, and pretend it's a field goal.
Well, he missed 3 last week, although it's not fair to say he missed 3. He had 2 blocked, and he missed 1 flat out against Minnesota. But I don't think I heard a lot of blame being thrown around for against the linemen for the fact that those were blocked.
Encroachment, the ball will stay right there.
Encroachment by the defense, so...
You know, one of the things that you very seldom talk about, but the football is placed on the ground. In college, they have those 2-inch tees, and you got to think that, you know, psychologically, that has to have an effect on a young kicker coming out of college into professional football.
Schrader will hold, and he's got that right down the middle. Max Zendejas, no question about that one. Dead solid perfect, and so the Washington Redskins finally get on top in this football game against the 1-8 Packers, who have been playing them tough. 50 seconds remain, 3rd quarter. Upright, dead center, and no doubt feeling a little bit better about things, but it'll be Cox kicking it off, the usual kickoff man, and kicks the low line driver to the 25-yard line. It's picked up there by Caruth, and Caruth up the sideline and knocked out of bounds at the 44. So again, the Pack with good field position here, trailing 13-7. A 19-yard return by Palat Caruth. And coming up next here today, the Giants in Philadelphia. Washington leading in this game, trying to move to 8-2. The Giants will play the Eagles at Philadelphia with a share of first place going into that game, depending on the outcome of this one here. First down at the 43-yard line. Chuck Fusina for the injured Randy Wright. We've had no further medical report on Wright. Took a blow to the head from Charles Mann, and they were scheduling x-rays in the locker room. Kenneth Davis, the ball carrier, picks up 5 on first down for Green Bay.
Something very interesting, the Redskins are gambling now. You know, we talked to Curtis Jordan yesterday, and he said after a few series, I get a read on what's happening, and then I take a gamble. Now, this time, he is not supposed to go up into the line of scrimmage and support. He's supposed to be back deep. But this time, he goes all the way up inside the line of scrimmage and makes the tackle. There's no one in deep middle. Packers see this again. Play action. You freeze him. Touchdown.
Well, that was kind of fun there because the Redskins had their defensive huddle and were all ready to go on the next play. But Fusina had just walked off the field to let the time wind down. And so the Redskins were saying, hey, what's happening? No quarterback coming against us. End of the third quarter. Redskins 13-7. These guys are getting their feet warm here, and there's a big vacancy out to the rest of that bench, all the way down to where the other heater is. It is second down. Green Bay, Chuck Bucina just diving straight ahead. Has a little miscue on the exchange, winds up with about a 2-yard gain. And if you're wondering why all the players are at one end or the other, that's where the heaters are on the Green Bay bench.
Bud Grant wouldn't allow that. He wouldn't allow
That's
the
right.
heaters. He thought you had to prove your manlyhood, I guess, as a football player, being tough and rugged. He wouldn't allow any blowers. I hated them personally because I used to always get around those blowers, get totally warm, and then we'd get the ball back and you had to run out there and freeze to death.
All Force is not hanging around the heaters. He's up there on the sideline, sticking his nose into this game. His club so far playing the Redskins dead even before falling behind 13-7. And on a third down play, Bucina calls timeout. Now, bear in mind, Chuck Bucina's had very little action for the Green Bay Packers. A little miscue on the snap on the last play, and he comes over here to make sure he's got it exactly right with Forrest Gray.
What I would call a strong-armed quarterback, so let's look for some kind of pick, some little option route, something short where he doesn't really have to display great arm strength.
Latest word on Randy Wright has been taken to the hospitals for further x-rays. We'll try and get an update on Randy's condition for you. Third down, and it's complete to Phillip Epps, and he can ramble. First down, Green Bay to the 35-yard line where Todd Bowles, the rookie from Temple, brought him down. 15-yard pickup for Phillip Epps.
Epps, the big star today. He's the one making all the receptions, especially when it comes to their passing. Last week, of course, Walter Stanley with 97 yards. He was the big show last week, but so far this week we have heard nothing from James Lofton.
I think only one pass been thrown toward James Lofton, was overthrown by Wright back in the first half. Phillip Epps, he was beaten by Darrell Green of the Redskins in the first round of that NFL Fastest Man contest by a 100th or something. They can both really scoot. First down. Bucina flares it off for Caruth. Caruth's got running room and flips as he gets to the 25-yard line. Looks like he has another Packer first down. Vernon Dean made the tackle there. Dean lost his starting role to Wilburn today, but makes that tackle.
This time they have Lofton set to the right side, run him on a deep post. The key was very simple. If he is indeed covered, check the linebackers. Are they deep? If they're deep, throw it out on the wide flare. That time, exactly that. Linebackers were deep. Bucina pops the ball to Caruth.
And he has the Packer first down at the 25-yard line of Washington. So the Packers rebounding from the touchdown by Kelvin Bryant that sent Washington in front 13-7 under Chuck Bucina. First and 10. Redskins, 25-yard line. Caruth and Davis, the running back. Kenneth Davis takes one tackle and picks up 5 to the 20-yard line before Millot drives him out. Kenneth Davis now has himself 93 yards on the day. 16 carries for 93 yards. He was the main man in that opening drive that led to the first touchdown of the game. Randy Wright to Phillip Epps. Caruth driven back as the Redskins right side of their defensive line, and Butts crossing in from the left side. Olkowitz, the linebacker, just buried him. There'll be a loss of about 2.
That time they had a stunt on a slant to the right. Butts and Grant, Manley on the outside. Butts and Grant penetrating, cutting across the guard and center, and driving everyone into the backfield. No way for the running back to find any daylight whatsoever.
36-year-old Dave Butts, the quiet man of that front line defense of the Redskins, 300 pounds. 3rd down and 8. Usina from the shotgun. Intended for Walter Stanley. Stanley winds up in the band over there on that wooden sheeting that's placed down for the Packers sideline band, and he was going full tilt when he hit that. And of course, on football boots, he's got nowhere to go but on his backside. You saw him rubbing it as he headed back toward the sideline.
Had that been AstroTurf or one of those synthetic turfs, he would have had different types of shoes on, and he wouldn't have slipped. He would have probably grabbed and gone head first because of the grip they would have had on that wood. Cleats on wood don't, they're not much to stop you there.
He made a nice hit on the alto player, though. I see that guy's having to screw on the mouthpiece's instrument. Field goal try from the 30 by Del Greco. A 40-yard attempt, and it's wide. Al Del Greco has missed from the 38 and the 40, and the Packers come up empty. 11:42 to play in regulation time. Washington 13
on his contract. He said, I have time to take a gamble and get my kind of people on this football team that I'm going to win with or lose with, but I want them to be my own.
1st down for Washington at their own 22-yard line. Having stopped the Green Bay attempt, and the Packers pay it back with Robert Brown, stopping Rodgers for a loss of maybe 2 on the play.
One of those options this time, Brown knocking off the tackle, pulling outside and forcing Rodgers back inside, and then sitting there and making the stop. They've run this play so many times, and the variations are off tackle, off guard, and around the end. And they've run all 3 variations. That time it was around the end, but Brown stopped it.
Rodgers, 16 carries, 53 yards rushing. The aim of the Redskins to move the ball effectively on the ground today. It's been a struggle. Monk in motion. Kelvin Bryant, good hole for Bryant, and Bryant picks up maybe 5 back to the 25-yard line, where Brian Noble makes the stop for Green Bay.
Now you have a passing situation. We talked earlier that Schrader with the strong arm was suited more for throwing into the wind. He likes it better. Now he actually has the wind at his back, and Coach Gibbs frankly said that he is a little fearful of the wind at a quarterback's back because he has a tendency to make the football sail and make it go high over receiver's head. Therefore, you have a lot of interceptions. So let's see the type of routes they run and throw the football this time.
3rd down, 8 to go. Big defensive play here for the Green Bay Packers. Schrader with time, and he has a 1st down to Clark. 3 Packers make the stop at the 45-yard line. Didn't you love Gary Clark talking about taking a pass over the middle? He says, I close my eyes and wait for it to arrive.
I asked him, I said, when you clear the safety, what do you think of? Do you look around to see if anyone's there? He said, yes. When I get down, now I'm going to drive off the corner. I'm going down. See him look at him look inside to see if anyone is coming. He notices the safeties are deep, so he just stops right there, and Schrader drills him the football.
And right there is where he closes his eyes because he knows he's going to get hit. 1st down. What a player he is. Comes to the Washington Redskins at Sandy. Rodgers picked up about 2.
You almost said Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, they'd like to have one.
And they would love to have him.
Well, actually, when you think about their receivers, Lofton, Epps, and Stanley, the fact that they're 1 and 8 is a little hard to believe, but we've talked about the other problems they have in the rebuilding program under Forrest Gregg. They don't have the supporting cast around those fine receivers.
Well, that's one of the things in comparing Schrader with Wright. You would have to say definitely Schrader has a better opportunity to let his skills shine because he's with obviously an all-pro unit.
2nd and 8. Washington working their way out of their own zone. But Schrader has Didier wide open. Good catch. Stopped at the 28-yard line and driven back by a pair of Packers. And a little extra going on down there. Cade and Stills, 24 and 29. Didier thinking that they stayed on him a little longer than necessary.
Well, Didier didn't do anything. Didier wanted to get up and get out of there. He said, hey, let these guys fight. It's too doggone cold for me to swing my fist.
25-yarder.
Excuse me, Tim. All-out blitz. They sent 3 linebackers this time, and if there's one thing I like about Schrader, it's the fact that as a young quarterback, he is sensing.
Washington scored on their last possession and move in front 13-7. Kelvin Bryant hit behind the line of scrimmage. Alfonso Carricker. Mark Lee, the quarterback, getting into it.
Blitzing once again. Blitzed the last time they threw a pass. Guessing they would run the football, they send their linebackers once again. As you can see the linebackers coming up on the left, on the right side of your screen. No place for Kelvin Bryant to go. Good job that time by Carricker coming up making the stop.
Terry, you know, when you think about it, going back over what they've attempted to do rushing-wise, the only effective play with any consistency today is that old tried-and-true counter tray. They now call it the counter crunch, basically pulling the two offside linemen. The only play that's really worked for them on the ground. 2nd and 13. Pass off to Keith Griffin. Griffin got back over the original line of scrimmage, picked up maybe a couple of more. Tim Harris, the rookie linebacker from Memphis State, drove him out of bounds there at the 26-yard line.
Or down the middle, or anyone down the middle.
Well, he's got to throw here at 3rd and 9. 7:12 to play, regulation time.
What do? Do you blitz, do you gamble, or do you play safe? They're going to play safe.
Ricky Sanders is in there as a wide receiver, joining Monk and Clark. Gets some time, now scrambles out. And it's complete to Gary Clark. Did he hold on to the ball?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, what a hit on him by Mark Lee. You know, I asked him that last night. He takes so many shots like that. He said, have you ever been hurt on any of those hard hits? He said, one shoulder injury, nothing serious.
Schrader looking downfield, keying the safeties. Notices that the weak safety goes to the left. He goes back to the right, avoids a sure sack. Now look at this, throwing on the run, in the wind, in the cold. Clark coming all the way across, making a big catch, and then paying for it as Lee decked him.
5'9", 175-pounder, and he is one tough football player. 1st down, Washington at the 12-yard line. Rogers, nowhere.
There's the counter crunch.
Bobby Leopold, the linebacker. Well, they were worried about Leopold being able to play that outside role as a starter today. He's been very, very effective. Number 53, picked up as a free agent.
We expected today, Tim, 97 Harris to be the player to reckon with the new scheme that Modulewski and Forrest Gregg had designed to confuse the running attack of the Redskins. But the key man actually, and we have not called Harris's name, but maybe once, but the key man's been Leopold, 53.
Gary Clark has 3 catches, 41 yards on the day. Let's see where Schrader goes here on 2nd down. Short drop. Clark, incomplete. Tight coverage by Mossy Cade. The ball a little behind him. Couldn't hold on.
Ideal situation for a quarterback. You love it when you know they're going to blitz, and you love it when you have receivers like Monk and Clark. Clark's out here man for man. Mossy Cade out of Texas got him man for man. Notice the depth. Notice how far off he is. Now inside goes Clark, and the ball is behind him. All he's got to do, Schrader that is, put it about a foot out front. Another touchdown for the Redskins.
Again, the windy conditions, you never know how much effect they have in certain situations. Schrader is now 13 of 20, 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. 3rd down, Redskins, 12-yard line. Blitz, lots of time. Almost picked off by Mossy Cade, intended for Art Monk. Mossy Cade is playing on that corner when Tim Lewis went down with a neck injury and was forced into retirement. Mossy Cade moved from safety to corner, and they've been testing him here.
1 interception this year. The real key on interceptions, Mark Lee, the other cornerback, but Mossy Cade out of Texas, an outstanding man-for-man coverage guy in college. Now they're testing him. The Redskins say, we think we can beat Mossy Cade, but right now he's rising to that challenge.
There are the numbers on Zendejas in the field goal department. They're actually better than his points after, and he'll try from 30 yards. He's got it. A flag is down, but Zendejas right on the money. Let's see if it's going to stand.
It's against the Packers. Schrader's saying, no, we decline it.
So the Washington Redskins can widen the margin to 9 once we have those hands go up here from Ben Dreiss.
Field goal is good. They had 12 men on the field. They're going to decline the penalty, takes a field goal.
Yeah, I guess they would. All right. So it is 16-7 remaining, and the Green Bay Packers carry with a second-string quarterback who's seen little action, Chuck Fusina. The responsibility falling on him now after the head injury to Randy Wright, who has gone to hospital after the hit by Mann. Stanley from the 10-yard line eludes Keith Griffin, and the ball comes loose but out of bounds, and it'll be Packer ball. Tim Morrison on the tackle. Stanley got to the 30-yard line. So now the Green Bay Packers are in up against it time. 5:18. They need 2 scores. Washington Redskins at 7-2. And later today here on CBS Sports, the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants at 7-2 in the NFC East. You can see the Pack who came into this number 28 on the run. Had some good action early from their rookie Kenneth Davis, but the Redskins have almost inexorably shut things down. And again, a miscue and a loose ball. So we have a whistle before the fumble will be the question. The Redskins have the football, but was it dead? Butts was the man to grab the loose ball. Fusina's now had 3 plays from his center, Carl Swanke, that have been problems in the snap exchange. But it remains Green Bay ball. Carl Swanke, the center, playing for the injured Mark Cannon on injured reserve.
Well, you have to wonder what happened. Either it was a bad exchange. You notice that the center that time pulling to the right. You have to wonder if Swanke wasn't trying to get in position, and when he pulled to the right, cut the snap off short.
You see on the replay that he was already down before the ball came out. Loss of about a half yard. Second down, just got it off. Flag on the play, it's Caruth. He's knocked out of bounds at the 32. And a pretty good lick on Chuck Fusina from the blind side. A flag on the play. Caruth with a gain of about 3 yards. Ben Dright, the referee, talking with the Redskins to see whether they want the down or the yardage. Penalty against
Holding
Green Bay.
number 75.
That's Ken Rutgers, and his 3rd holding penalty of the day. He's got Dexter Manley to contend with, the second-year man from USC.
Rutgers 75, nothing on his arms. Now Manley's out wide. Knowing they're going to throw the football, Manley gets out wide, give himself an angle, a 2-way go on the tackle. That time, gosh, he beats Rutgers inside automatically, and so Ken Rutgers just says, I've got to tackle you to protect my guy. Got to be cold. Look at that.
So it'll be second and a little more than 20. The ball at the 18-yard line. Ken Rutgers. Education here in NFL football from Dexter Manley. Intended for Caruth. Chuck Fusina, the ball a little low. And Caruth was open there, Terry, but Fusina didn't get it to him.
Well, when you run the football a lot, as the Packers have done today, Tim, and you know, keep saying it, but doggone it, it's cold out there, and you have to really throw a lot of passes to get used to this weather. And quite honestly, Chuck Fusina has not thrown a lot of passes, 8 to be exact, and therefore, you know, you get a little rusty, you get a little stiff, your fingers are cold, and therefore you throw them in the ground. That's what happened.
3rd down for Chuck Fusina. And the Packers, 4:19 to play in regulation time. This is really about it here. They've got to get a 1st down, or school is virtually out. And he hits his man as he inbounds. Lofton, yes. Lofton at the 50-yard line. What a job by Fusina and Lofton. His 1st catch of the day, the biggest play of the day for Green Bay.
Try to hit this pass earlier. Lofton on these situations is in the slot. He's in the slot because he's big, he's strong, and a lot of action is taken away from a guy in the middle. Now, if Fusina gets out of the pocket and throws it up, and there you can see Lofton making the catch, getting both legs inbound, both feet, that is. 1st down, Green Bay.
James Lofton, the leading pass receiver as usual here in Green Bay. 41 catches coming into the football game today, but his first of the day, and keeps it alive for Green Bay at the 50-yard line. Nice fake by Fusina, trying to find an open man, and he can't. Takes it out of bounds. Picked up a couple of yards.
Rutgers has had a tough day today. Left tackle, 75. Darrell, now you see Dexter Manley outside. Now you see the good job that Rutgers is doing. Left arm underneath. He just locks in and just strength to strength, just forces Manley wide. No way is he going to make the sack. About time. We're standing up here and talking about this guy, and the only time linemen really have anything said about him is negative because of holding penalties. It draws the camera to him. But that time Rutgers did a very nice job.
2nd and 9 for the Pack. Cena getting a yard on the scramble there. Good coverage downfield by the Redskins secondary on the last play. Short drop this time, Cena. Intended out there for Davis, and on the coverage, Alvin Walton, but the pass went right through the hands of Davis, a little low, and he couldn't get good position on it.
Davis.
3rd down, so once again the Packers in a key 3rd down situation. 4 new defensive players come on, and the passing down for the Redskins. Cena 7 for 10, 63 yards. Steve Hamilton, Coffey, Bowles, and Morrison all in defensively for Washington.
We saw last week an interesting lineup by the Packers, Tim, as they lined up 3 receivers, stacked them up like a choo-choo train, and ran their Hail Mary routes from that. So maybe we'll see that before the game is over with.
Shotgun here on 3rd and 9. Packers must keep the ball. Complete to Phillip Epps, and can't get away from number 45, Barry Wilburn. And he is short of the 1st down, and they'll have to go.
What happened when Epps caught the football and stopped to make his reverse spin and go up the field? He was fumbling the football, Tim, so he had to stop, regroup, gather the football, and then go ahead and go on down. 4th and 1.
There's Forrest Gregg talking to Kenneth Davis, who will be bringing in the play. The rookie running back from TCU having a fine afternoon for the
Timeout.
Pack.
Forrest Gregg trying to get the play in with the player, realizing the player was having some trouble understanding what he wanted to get done, so he said timeout.
Out of their first 18, they've got to have it here. 4th and 2. Cena complete, and he has the 1st down. The Redskins say no, but he is right there past the marker, Phillip Epps. So they are now 11 of 19 on 4th down conversion.
Now they have to take out a situational substitution as they bring Ross back in. You know, I'm a firm believer, and I don't think you should waste time, especially when you're behind. You need a touchdown and a field goal to win. I think you should have had another play called. You make it, run another play. Valuable seconds going off the clock.
Well, as you point out, I guess changing the personnel is what does it to you. And obviously, that could be designed otherwise as well. 2:40 and ticking indeed. 1st down. Packers need 2 scores. Caruth makes the catch, and a 1st down to the 20-yard line. The rookie from Alabama. An 18-yard gain to Paulette Caruth.
Circling around the backfield, gets in behind Rich Malott. Excellent read that time by Fusina. And the thing that you have to be impressed with was that he got the football to Caruth quickly. Now see, they're sending in another play. You're losing the football game. You've got to have 2 plays called. You're just wasting too much time.
Well, again, Gary, your point spoken right on the clock.
You're going to go into this is why the fans are booing. They have literally wasted 28 seconds in the last 2, just to run the last 2 plays in between them by trying to get people in the game. Green Bay coming back up. You got to wonder, Tim, why don't they call 2 plays? You know, they single these plays in, but I think a quarterback has to take the initiative here and say, give me 2 plays. I want to call both plays.
Well, they've got 2 minutes to play. They're at the 20-yard line. They're down 9, the Redskins. Trying to stop them here. Pass is complete to Lofton.
Up to the line of scrimmage.
7. They're inside the 15. 150 and counting. And you can see Fusina looking over to the sideline again, but this play they've got ready. Chuck Fusina. Out to Davis. Monty Coleman drives him out. He'll be close to the first down. He got out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:32.
That's the best thing I've seen so far, that this offense has wasted one.
They wasted one where you thought they should have had the plays called. They took a timeout. Inside, well, just approaching the 2 minutes.
Fumble.
Loose ball, Fusina, and scrambling forward, gets to about the 11, back short of the first down. He'll have fourth down.
Now you can go into your fourth down scenario again.
Well, that's right. They are 11 of 19, converting on fourth down. That's one of the upsides of this 1-8 season for the Pack.
Or at least you should have, that you know, no excuse for wasting valuable timeouts.
Now they have to make another fourth down conversion. They'll get it in the end zone. They go for the first down, incomplete, and that's it. Intended for Kenneth Davis, took a hit as the ball arrived, and Washington has the football the lead half of the season in the NFC. Hotting up.
I mean, heating up.
Well, heating up too. And you can see the Redskins have some tough days ahead. San Francisco, Dallas, the Giants, and Denver. And here they are against a 1-8 team. It's been a long, hard afternoon. It's not an easy one for the Redskins. They'll be glad to get in there, warm up, and fly back to Washington with a victory. 1:16, and they'll just try and let the clock end this game without any further combat. Joe Gibbs hoping to get the running game going today. The weather conditions actually were working in his favor in that respect, in that he was going to be forced to run, but it was the passing game of Schrader that really made the difference. He got the touchdown to Sanders, the first score, and then hit Kelvin Bryant to send him in front 13-7. And it was key passes that set up the field goal by Zendejas. So the passing game, which has been at the forefront of the Redskins attack, continues to be so even in this cold weather in Green Bay. 2nd and 12. And they'll just back it up and watch that clock wind down. The Washington Redskins have moved to 8-2. And the Green Bay Packers have fallen to 1-9. A long, cold season. The remainder of it will be for Forrest Gregg and company as he continues his rebuilding program here. And it's no fun to do that in this place where they are used to champions. We'll return to Lambeau Field in a moment. Stay with us.